I have been arguing with strangers on the internet for 25 years. Started out on the family computer using AOL dial-up to talk to strangers online as a child. Somehow, I made it through that ungroomed. And since I was ungroomed, I figured I had a lot in common with the users on the image board 4chan.
Who is this 4chan?
So as a teenager, I said, I'll be your Huckleberry to the internet's wild, wild west. And I stayed there for many years, lurking and posting, but eventually I grew tired of the shitposts and troll faces. Had my IP address posted on B one too many times, so I put down the Ayn Rand and moved on, mostly to real life. Just didn't have the time for it anymore. I kept the internet discourse quarantined to Facebook like an adult. I might log on, tell my racist uncle about himself, and then log out. That was that for a while, but things were changing. Those niche internet references were seeds that were germinating in the warm palms of losers like me all across the world. We thought we left 4chan, but we actually brought it with us everywhere. And by the 2010s, those niche internet references were now mainstream pop culture. And you could find them on Twitter, Vine, Reddit, even Facebook, and most importantly, podcasts. Welcome to Reed's Room. If you click this video, you may already know the lore here, but I will summarize for those who don't, with not a lot of nuance. In 2009, Joe Rogan, the guy from Fear Factor, the guy that's still wearing that same type of shirt, started a podcast. He started the podcast, it was the first podcast I ever listened to. And that podcast became the soundtrack to my life. I'd listen at home, I'd listen at work. There are days on road trips that are forever intertwined with the episode of the podcast I was listening to that day. That's real brain rot, people. I love that I could tune in and get a perspective from any corner of the world. It really felt similar to watching like the Discovery Channel or the History Channel with the Ancient Aliens knob turned up to 11. At times, I'd listen to Alex Jones talk for 4 hours. Even at the time, it was annoying, but I would find some parts funny and memeable, so I'd tune in anyway. For every crackpot he had on, there was like an equal and opposite reaction that created beautiful moments. Like Eddie Huang coming on and convincing Joe that universal basic income is a good thing. Or in 2020, when he had Michael Osterholm on at the start of the pandemic. Those were scary times. So if you liked comedy, MMA, if you liked chilling with the dudes, there was something to enjoy about this podcast. I don't know the exact number, but I listened to about 1,200 episodes consecutively over 6 years. That kind of made me throw up in my mouth saying it. When you listen to someone talk for that long, you're gonna notice some patterns. It started with Jamie pull up bald chimpanzees, telling every guest about the stoned ape theory, and talking about how he would reverse sear his elk steaks on his Traeger grill. But quickly, it ended up being trans athletes and vaccines and cancel culture coming up on every episode. At that point, I would try to skip the episodes that seemed like they were going to be about the culture war, but you couldn't listen to anything without that getting injected into the conversation. Even Dr. Rhonda Patrick, a longtime guest who would come on and talk about cold plunges and saunas, you know how important that is to the Joe Rogan zeitgeist, stopped getting invited back because she supported vaccines, and when Joe was spouting off about this, she would push back. Joe got a $1 billion Spotify deal, and he left the fascist state of California to go to the new hub of freedom known as Austin, Texas, where weed is still illegal, by the way. Around the same time as his migration, there was an analogous migration of his fans, like me, who were fed up. Was it the money? Was it Texas? Was it COVID? The outrage of those fans? Was it the chicken or the egg? I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. The podcast changed. For good. And that takes us to the point of this video. I have discovered the Motherlode, a renewable resource of internet drama. It combines those old school 4chan tendencies with the new internet mainstream pop culture, the Joe Rogan Subreddit. It's full of people that hate their favorite podcast, that hate each other, and frankly, hate themselves because they won't leave. That's me. I'm one of those people. The demographic consists of basically everyone across the political compass. You have the normie Democrats. You have the Bernie bros. You have people who will not shut up about the Nordic model. There's anarchists who are hoping to use jujitsu in the People's Revolution. And of course there are communists who may be writing a think piece about this on Substack right now if they're not busy trying to convince people not to vote. On the right, of course, you have MAGA listeners that just discovered the podcast in 2021 and think everything is going great. There are some manosphere dudes in their early 20s who cannot get a woman to save their life. There are libertarians who are a little bit too concerned with the age of consent laws. And there are some real libertarians who are obsessed with Dan Carlin hardcore history and are not really sure if they're on the left or the right anymore. Then you have the biggest flank of the American right, centrists, who voted for Trump 3 times. There's plenty of those, with a few centrists that are like, let's get back to the conspiracy theories on every single post. So that's just to give you the lay of the land. Let's jump in, check out some posts, see how broken these people's brains really are, and see how broken my brain is in return as I compulsively respond to every single comment. Hello, party people. This is Reed inside of Reed's room or whatever. I do not have an ad partner for this video, so you, the viewer, are my ad partner. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you liked, what you hate, what you would do better, what you would change. Possibly leave 25 comments roasting me. I may respond. As you can tell from the subject matter of this video, I am susceptible to that sort of thing. Winter break is a good time to chill with your family, relax, possibly watch a YouTube video. This is my first one, and I put a lot of work into it, so I hope you like it, but I'm also open to any sort of constructive criticism on how to make it better. I've had a lot of success on TikTok, but this is my first ever long-form video, so I'm nervous to put it out there. I really hope you're enjoying it. If you watched to this point, I'm extremely thankful. I really appreciate it. And hey, if you're a brand, hit that email. Maybe we can cook something up together. Thanks a lot. Part 3, the evidence. Subjected myself to Reddit. Of course, got into multiple beefs while I was there. Caused some slight problems as I was receiving notifications and going and getting sidetracked while trying to get screenshots for this, but hey, it happened. I'm here. Let's get on with it, boys. First meme I found posted about 2 months ago on the subreddit. He was killed on camera. No one's family deserves to have to witness that. It's unthinkably cruel that people would go on the internet and use their platforms to say about an innocent man that, I don't care he's dead. He's not a hero. He's a scumbag. He shouldn't be celebrated. I was talking about George Floyd. You thought I was talking about Charlie Kirk? No, those are actual quotes by Charlie Kirk about George Floyd. Outrageous that anyone say that of the dead, right? You know that's going to rile the people up. You know that's going to get the people riled up, which is why I'm here. So, of course, the bait worked. Sir Dominitas is here to show that the fent dealing, previously arrested individual charged with putting a gun to a pregnant woman's belly versus a moderate Christian conservative that just wanted to talk to people. A very interesting argument here. I don't know why. I kind of imagine this sort of commenter has like a southern accent. And then appropriate pair comes in. This whole I just wanted to talk to people crap shows how easily brainwashed you are. He was funded by billionaires. He debated children, etc., etc. Somebody else jumps in and says, well, I guess you never watched the show because he just wanted to talk to people and put his talking points up against scrutiny. And he invited disagreement. And it's un-American not to. So, yeah, the commenter says, I've seen his shift from neocon Republican to far-right propagandist, and the whole welcoming disagreement thing is just talking points. Because what you have to understand with a Charlie Kirk type of individual, the biggest point of the whole debate for him is for his rotten ass ideas to escape containment. It's like COVID. It's like a disease. It's not about the marketplace of ideas. It's like getting this vile, rotten idea out and having it catch on to possibly some of y'all, some of my friends, and some of my uncles and aunts and cousins and people on Facebook that I went to high school with. And once it infects those people, because it's so easy to just look down and be like, ugh, my life sucks, but I'd love for there to be someone for me to look down on too. Anyway, dude comes back and says, so tell me specifically, what was vile and hateful about everything Charlie Kirk had to say? Appropriate Pearl comes in, writes a paragraph. He's got a lot more patience than I do, I'd say. Well, the Great Replacement Theory, he's anti-Semitic, he didn't like Civil Rights Act, he doesn't trust black people, he says that Martin Luther King, like, unleashed a demon on the United States, etc. And surprise, surprise, the other commenter is like, yeah, actually none of that is vile or... Oh, let me try the southern accent. Yeah, none of that's vile or hateful. It's just stating facts and opinions that you disagree with. You can call me a fascist all you want. It don't change reality, bud. You're painting a false narrative that literally got a guy killed. Okay, it probably wouldn't be Southern person because they would not say that sort of sentence. This is almost certainly some sort of robot or something. Appropriate pair. I guess that patience, he lost it. And he said, fuck you, fascist pig. And then the other guy, I'm going to try that again. The only fascist here is you, bud. You're spreading lies and shutting down people that disagree with you. Stay mad. You're cute when you're angry. Appropriate Pearl about to drop the bomb because he says, I don't debate fascists. And notice when I presented evidence, you ignored reality. And I'm cute, by the way. I'm fucking 16. Why are you talking to kids on the internet, creep? Bomb dropped. And then we got the same sort of commenter. This is a separate scenario. Comparing a political commentator to a drug addict with a mile-long rap sheet that included violent crimes against pregnant women. Quite the reach. Quite the reach. It's quite the reach. So someone replies, I guess you're okay with a cop slowly strangling you to death because they feel like it. Good to know. He said, that's also a good stretch. I love when people just go back and forth like that. It just, something about it I like. I never said anything remotely close to that. It's just they aren't even comparable in terms of character. You must be brain dead. It wasn't a slow strangle. He overdosed. Dude comes back and says, yeah, there was autopsies and it was proved in court that he was strangled. So, duh, no one deserves what happened to them. And guy responds, which I gotta say, he's got a little sauce on this. He's got a little bit of emotion when he says this. He says, what if it was Adolf Hitler? What if it was Hitler, dude? Chat, what if it was Hitler? You tell me. And, okay, sorry to ruin his motion, but I will explain. Yeah, everyone deserves due process, even shitty people. Because shitty people can be falsely accused of things. And shitty things can happen to shitty people. So being shitty, in my book, does not disqualify you from getting a trial. Pretty much nothing should be disqualifying you from getting a trial. That's, in my mind, how that should work. And let me add to that, being shitty shouldn't disqualify you from getting healthcare. It shouldn't disqualify for you from going to school. It shouldn't disqualify you from anything, really. There should just be a blanket safety net across everyone, and then we can decide who's shitty or not. Because, from my experience, a lot of shitty people are in shitty situations and have to do things to get themselves out of those situations that someone in a nice chill spot may never even consider being an option. Just saying. But if it was literally Hitler, I guess I would slowly strangle him. I'm gonna be honest, I guess I would. I don't know. All right. We've got another one here. The Anti-Establishment and the Anti-Elitist Podcast. Power to the people, Joe. And of course, you've got little old Elon, Mr. Facebook, and the actual Antichrist, Peter Thiel, all chilling on the podcast as Joe was happy to invite them on. It's crazy that Joe will laugh at Elon Musk's jokes and then completely airball when it comes to Theo Von riffing with him. Elon Musk says something about dark woke, and Joe he can't believe it. He's stunned. Elon is one of the 250 elite assassin killers that are invited to the mothership in Austin, Texas. And by the way, that same interview, it was about a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks. Theo Vaughn kind of brought up Peter Thiel as well. He was like, you know, yo, dude, did you see they got the drones in the Gaza Strip, dude? Palantir, dude. And Joe Rogan was like, Jamie, pull up coolest bugs, pull up nicotine toothpicks, please. Anything but what Theo Vaughn is saying. We have to change the subject immediately. Anyway, I'm ranting as I do. I mean, that's kind of what this is all about, isn't it? This is just funny. Joe Rogan is the new Rush Limbaugh, which is extremely accurate. Someone says, can you post the clip of Duncan Trussell warning Joe of this exact post? Cue the clip.
Nice guy.
Look, man, it doesn't matter. Like, here's a deeper point, man. I don't mean to do this every time I'm on, but you have such a crazy power that if you're not careful, folks from deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit. Dude, if you watch that great documentary on the like white Aryan folks, man, it's fucked up. Like this.
Dude, why you gotta go there? Give me that lighter.
These people are very organized, man. It's like they're organized, what I'm saying. And like, and again, I'm not saying Ben Shapiro is this person. He wears a yarmulke. He's Jewish. What? I don't know much about him. I don't care. I don't care.
Listen to me. All those people that are organized, they can come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug.
Relax.
Why?
Just relax. All those people are just people, man.
Like a white supremacist?
They're lost. Imagine if you gave a white supremacist 5-MeO DMT.
Ooh. Transition. Okay, I'm back. Did that work? I don't know. Duncan, great point. We kind of knew this was coming. Joe knew it. Everyone knew it. But he was willing to go there as long as that check did not bounce. And boy, did the check clear. The issue, Duncan, is that you were living in a glass house, because I've been seeing you wearing that little Palantir hat. Yeah, I have. I've been seeing that. So you had some great points, but I see that you are willing to just cut the check regardless of who's signing it. And hey, I don't really know the guy that well, so I can't say too much more. Here we've got another little Donald Trump truth. So what is it called? So you got tweeting, right? What is truth socialing? Truthing? Can anyone clear that up for me? Because I'm really not sure. All federal okay, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to do it. All federal funding will stop for any college, school, university that follows the illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. Students will be permanently expelled, or depending on the crime, well, they're arrested. No masks! No masks! Thank you for your attention on this matter. How bad was that? Can I get a 4 out of 10? Chat, 4 out of 10? What do we think? Maztron, big brain fellow, came in. Keyword on this statement is illegal. I guess if you don't have a legal protest, you'll be fine. Wake me up for the revolt. I wonder what that guy's agenda is. Civil disobedience is a key element to protesting. Illegal for Trump means anything they can pin on you, standing outside a building after hours, jaywalking, whatever. The point is, this pressures the schools to crack down hard because they're already strapped for cash, which is a solid point. Trump is obviously trying to do a power play and say, hey, listen, you have an illegal protest, you ain't getting paid. Yeah, probably not, though, was correct. Clearly a reason to arrest political dissidents. Mastron comes back, Mr. Brigbrain. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, but if you are at a protest and destroy other people's property or inflict harm on someone, you should be held accountable. It's not that deep. Someone tried to zing them, except January 6ers. But here's the thing. They did get arrested. They were pardoned. They were pardoned of it, but they originally got arrested at some point. They had some sort of repercussions, at least initially. Here's the issue with the whole thing. Workers in the 1920s waited to go through the proper channels of holding a protest. I would have been working 6 days a week at the age of 12. The work week would be 90 fucking hours long. There would be no such thing as national parks. There'd be no such thing as the Civil Rights Act. You Charlie Kirk lovers are like, wait a second. I like that. And this guy, Penn Saddle, I'm gonna be honest. Low Kirk, he was cooking this. Low Kirkwiently, he said, what the fuck? I would like to state once again that this current admin is precisely the reason I've pushed back on any of you knuckleheads wanting gun reform. You think this is bad? Just think if they had no reason to fear the citizens. Saddle was low Kirkwantley cooking. He was. I'm not gonna lie. Deleted says, yeah, my 20 guns are gonna protect me from a missile or a drone or tanks. It will, for real, for real. 3 clown emojis. Triple emoji drop. Penn Saddle says, someone doesn't know their history. Please tell me our success rate against guerrilla forces. And then, this guy loves the clown emoji, by the way, says, back again, yeah, but our military is far advanced at this point, so good luck with your rifles against drones. Penn tries to drop a little bit of knowledge on him and says, we failed in Iraq. There were far less numbers. You think they'll convince the entirety of the military to turn on the citizens they sort of protect? Highly doubt it, saying like, if there was somehow a war, the military would kind of be split just as well as the citizens and the government and everything else. But he did say that cops will obviously join in with the government. Again, man's cooking a little bit. I doubt we agree on much, but we agree on this. And then deleted, whoever you are, if you're deleted out there, hello, brother. You had some good points too, because you said we weren't in it to take hold. It was just for weapon contractors to make that money. And they did. Weapons and oil. Boom. So I have to say, before you deleted your account or your post or whatever, I liked it. I liked what was happening here. You guys this was a meeting of the minds. Truly, on the Joe Rogan subreddit, a meeting of the minds. So Penn Saddle says, all right, so you're just going to bend over, let them raw dog you? That's how it, okay. I added that part. It is what it is. I added that part. He's saying, what are they going to do, bomb the entire country? They live there too. And they're just going back and forth. And eventually, they get nowhere. Eventually, nothing happens. And that is ultimately why this is all pointless, but a fun little hobby anyway, because neither one of them learned a thing. Maybe we did. Maybe the journey was the friends we made along the way. You, my one single viewer, and me, Reed. So, Penn Saddle and Deleted, thank you for bringing the two of us together. We might, get married. This one, I don't remember the context, but it's so good I just had to add it here. My grandpa said, no matter what, you support the president. At the end of the day, he's our president. Mike already hits him with the, if your grandpa told you to suck his dick, would you? Would you suck his dick? Would you suck your grandpa's dick if your grandpa told you to suck your, would you? This had me ruffling on the floor. It had me ruffleizing. This had me ruffling away. This had me ruffling. Bang. And then we're back with another little meme about your favorite Palantir, showing that everyone involved in any way was on the JRE at some point in time. And I'd like to make it known also, Peter Thiel owns a lot of stake in Spotify. This doesn't just stop at Palantir. The thought of Eric Weinstein managing Peter Thiel's money is extremely comical. The intellectual dark web of accounting, people. Get with it. Endurance said, why so much hate towards it? Every Joe Rogan fan that was once here has been brainwashed into believing that all these dudes are bad just because they're Republicans. I'm familiar with them, and I've read extensively, and I've even extensively invested in their companies. Are you mad that you missed the boat? Or you're jealous that they're successful and you're just listening to left-leaning propaganda? Serious question. Ellipsis. Serious question, ellipsis. Joe shifted away from comedy to more civilized and intellectual conversations. Civilized and intellectual conversations like, I think Jesus might come back as an AI. I think Jesus might come back as AI. Bluest Waters comes in with a really quick and simple, just because they want to build an extensive surveillance network that eavesdrops on everything you do and say and use that info to lord over us doesn't mean they are bad people. Well, yeah. It sort of does, Endurance. It sort of does mean that. And what he's describing there is called techno-feudalism. Look it up. Maybe I'll do a video on it, because it intrigues me, and I read a book about it. And we're back in the shits, because this happened like a month ago. Laugh Factory manager was arrested by ICE. One of the 250 assassins, maybe. I don't know. Vin Emerson. You know how I said I got into an argument with somebody as I was trying to make this video? It was Vin Emerson. Coincidentally, wasn't on this post, had nothing to do with this, wasn't even on this subreddit. Vin Emerson was out there looking for me, lurking. He did eventually delete the comment, which was something of the nature of, don't even bother talking to this fool. He's just indoctrinated by the left. He will hate America for any reason he can. He'll believe anything is wrong with America. And then he deleted it. When I said, bro, I'm American, what do you mean? America's chill. I'm here. But hey, Vin Emerson, I know way more about you than I'd like to. Because after you said, look who's laughing now, about somebody getting a knee pressed against the back of their neck by ice, someone decided to look at your post history. And it was all posts of you, a 57-year-old man, in your underwear, 1/4 chubbed up, looking for a sugar baby. It was you and your dad bod, a 4th chubbed, looking for someone that you could pay to fuck you. And there were no replies, but he posted like a dozen times on a dozen different subreddits. Vin, if you're watching this, bro, let's link up, dude. Let's link up, Vin. Let's have a conversation. I could record it. Might be nice. Anyway, fuck you. Then we got somebody coming in. This is a little bit of sarcasm, but can you imagine if Kamala was president? Plenty Haunting said, what about the Hunter dick pics? We're in sarcasm mode right here. What about the Hunter dick pics? Hunter, he was not a 1/4 chubbed. Hunter's got a rocket on him. He does. He really does. Hunter's got a rocket. He's got a piece. I'm serious. And then the last Don says, who spells that out? Hunter dick pics are the new Obama's tan suit, the left's favorite distractions from their legitimate scandals and corruptions. Interesting take. And then what legitimate scandals come close to Trump's 10,000 different scandals? I'll wait. And it looks like you didn't really have to wait because he replied immediately. The crackhead who had to get pardoned because his corrupt father used him to collect millions of dollars in bribe that he laundered through 20 shell companies, cars, diamonds, and hostile foreign nations just for his non-existent expertise in the energy industry? Meanwhile, Trump is the most vetted and targeted and persecuted politician of modern times. Regardless of if your brainwashing makes you incapable of acknowledging that fact, I'm gonna stop you right there, bro. The most vetted and targeted? Possibly. And you know the result of the vetting was that he was convicted of like 30 fucking felonies, right? That's kind of what the vetting does. That's like the whole process of discovery, prosecution, but he did not receive any sort of punishment. And that's on the fucking Democrats. That's on Comey. That's on all the above. But hey, you know what fucking, I was about to say Dan Carlin. You know what George Carlin said? Dan Carlin said, Genghis Khan. But George Carlin said, it's a big club, and you ain't in it. That's me and my one viewer. We ain't in it, bro. We ain't in it. And neither is the Last Don, and neither is Usual Solids, because he could have been convicted for those felonies. But everyone in the government decided together, as a unit, he was the president. Like, think about it. They started looking into the stuff we've done and decided, nah, I think you could apply that same logic to the Epstein files. Right. And also, Hunter Biden, I'm gonna be honest, he's fucking sick. Hunter Biden goes hard. He's a chiller. He smokes a little bit of crack, and who doesn't? Who doesn't smoke a little bit of crack? He's got an absolute hog, and I ain't talking Harley Davidson, buddy. I ain't. He puts music on his cell phone. What was it, Maroon? He plays Maroon 5 on his cell phone while smoking cracks with hookers in hotels, and they said they felt safe. That's the type of guy I want to be around, okay? I want to chill with Hunter Biden. And was he a nepotism hire? You betcha. He sure was a nepotism hire. Does he have expertise on the energy industry? No. But is he a chiller? Yes. And that, for me, is what is most important. That's it. Oh, I was ready for more. See how I get pulled into this? I'm having a good time. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk about Hunter Biden some more. In fact, his laptop, I found out, I used to work at a place that repaired computers in New Jersey, and one of our rival repair companies in Delaware was the place that leaked Hunter Biden's laptop information. Like, I know the guy. Not like personally, but like I know of the guy because he was at the rival computer repair place. Hunter Biden just brought his stuff in. Like, to get it fixed. And this dude took his personal information and called the FBI or whatever. Dude was a dickhead. I totally would have been fired if I did that. I don't really have an outro to this video. I guess in terms of addiction, if arguing with people online is one, it was a lot easier to quit cold turkey back when I was one of the few soldiers entering the battlefield. But in 2025, discourse is everywhere. It feels like I can't even go on LinkedIn without being tempted to comment something snarky under a post. Maybe that says more about me than the culture at large. Either way, if I see you out there, I will engage with the utmost respect of a warrior. I don't know what I'm talking about. People are watching me record this from their car.